Hello friends! Welcome back to the Tiny House Concierge. My name is Alaska. I am your Tiny House Concierge. And today we're going to talk about how to buy a tiny house. Real quick, this is a new channel, so if you would show some love and hit subscribe, that would be very much appreciated. Also, if you could hit that like button, that helps too. Alright, so how to buy a tiny house. Step 1. Define your life. And I'm going to pause there for emphasis because it really is imperative that you start with that step. And once you define your life, the next thing that you're going to want to do is to make sure that a tiny house is actually the answer that's going to help you meet your goals. So a lot of people want to go tiny because they have this idea that it's going to be cheaper and easier than other types of more traditional housing. And the reality is that it could be cheaper, depends on where you live. But at this point in time, it's probably not going to be easier. So before you get too deep into it, really make sure that you know what you want and that a tiny house is the answer to get you what you want. All right, step 2. You want to make sure that the tiny house lifestyle is actually something that you're going to enjoy. You're going to be living in a pretty small space. And so you're going to want to research things like small space living or maybe minimalism. You're going to want to look at things like how to move a tiny house and what's involved in that process. Maybe you want to research composting toilets real quick just to make sure that you kind of know the deal with those. Just basically make sure that you, your family, your pets are not going to just go out of your minds living in a tiny house. All right, so once you got that figured out, you know what your goals are, you know your family's going to be fine, you're on board, the next step is to figure out the money. So if you have the money, cool. If you don't have the money, you're going to want to look for financing. And I will do another video on tiny house financing, but know that you can get tiny house loans or RV loans or personal loans or different kinds of financing for tiny homes. It's going to be a little bit different than a mortgage, and you may not get very far using the words tiny house loan. Just say that you need money to buy a travel trailer. Go from there. Okay, so once the money is figured out, it's time to either choose your builder or purchase a secondhand tiny home. Now, either way you go, and there are benefits to both, you want to make sure that you do a ton of research. A ton of research. And I will do more videos on what that research should look like and questions that you can ask to do that more fully. But for now, you're going to want to make sure that your builder really, really knows what they're doing. And not just that they've built houses, but that specifically they've built tiny houses. It is a very different thing living in a tiny house, and there are different building considerations that need to be thought about. So make sure your builder knows what they're doing, make sure they're not on the verge of bankruptcy, make sure they actually own the home that they're selling to you, and friends. This is coming from the real estate professional in me. Please get an inspection on your tiny house. Please make sure that it is safe, that someone else has looked it over who knows what to look for, and that you're really knowing, you really know what you're getting. So again, I will do more videos on that process, but that's going to be your next step. And your 4th step, live tiny. Oh, well, find parking. We'll do another video on that as well. But yeah, for now, that's kind of a basic overview of how to buy a tiny house. If you have more questions or you want help going tiny and you want to talk this out one-on-one, I do private consulting. So I will totally get on Zoom with you, and you can tell me all your hopes and dreams and fears, and I will take my real estate knowledge and I will take my tiny house experience and I will look at all the pieces with you and talk about what your options could be and help you go forward. So, talk to me in the comments if you like. You can also reach out to me on Instagram at Tiny House Concierge. If you haven't had a chance to subscribe, please do so. And I will see you in the next video.